Okay, great. So, good morning, one and all. I'm Shubham. As Dimple ma'am already covered a lot of things about me. That I completed my engineering from JIT itself in 2014. Okay, so my hobbies mostly used to share things which are in current scenario or which are in trends. So I'm working in Metagive Softwares as a senior software engineer. Uh, I'm having an experience around 6 years, and right now, for you guys, I have something to share. Like as you can see that I'm sharing two things over here. That is, one is website and one is YouTube channel. So it is more for the CSIT branch students. If you want to learn about the web development, you can go with this YouTube URL and can learn all things which is related to the web development. And you will be needing an IDE. So for that, we have a website that is codeup.in, which is created by me itself. So you can use both the things to increase your knowledge in web development. So Dimple ma'am covered one thing in my introduction, that I used to run a club, which is Pirates of Computers, in my college time. So this is basically a computer clubs, and in that club, we used to do a lot of things. Like we go with the events, we have competitions, we release the magazine, we do a lot of things in that clubs, and that club actually give me the experience, or actually give me the knowledge that how to uh, get started with your career. I mean, how to learn things, how to start with your learning curve, and what you need to achieve in your life, or what actually you want to do in your career, in the engineering career. So guys, I would like to request all to join such kind of forums, such kind of community which helps you out, that what is going on into the current scenario and what is the requirement in the corporate world. Okay, so without wasting any time, I should go for the first uh, slide, which is theory versus practical. I would like to interrupt this presentation in between, and I would like to see the. Okay, I'm sharing this. Okay. So I have created a poll. I hope you have answered that. So how many of you think that which one is very important, theory or practical? So Dimple ma'am, can you see the poll? Anyone can see the poll and having any result, that how much people are saying theory and how much are saying practical?
No, no, poll is not visible.
Poll is not visible. That is okay. So I'm just generally asking to every student or everyone who is joining this session. So I would like to tell you that which thing is more important. If you really want to compare these two things, so you will find out that you cannot compare. The both are having the same weightage, or these things are not comparable. Actually, the units are different, so you cannot compare these things, right? So theory, if I go to practicals in the engineering students, every student is looking for the practicals. He or she says like practicals are much more intuitive or much more attractive, or you feel better while you are doing practicals, and you feel bored while you are going with the theory knowledge. So let's take a scenario. Okay, so uh, where where did this theory start? I mean, where did you get the theory? So if you think over that, how we came from these theories. So before that, uh, whoever person have created a theory uh, would be doing, like might be doing some lot of experiments first. So by doing a lot of experiments, then he or she came to a conclusion, and then she or he made a theory. So theory is the result of practicals. Actually, theory is the result of practicals. So if you're doing experiments, then you will come to a conclusion that will be theory. So uh, so you can get my point now. Like theory is something which is already proved by someone. I mean, it came from experiments or the practicals, so you can rely on that. So this is a theory. So and what are the practicals? That in college time in engineering, there are two kind of practicals. One is experimental, so you experiment something and then get into a result. And second one is implementing a theory. So already there is a theory and you are going to implement that in your labs or whatever. Okay, so so in college, if you don't know the theory, you will waste your lot of time in practicals, right? And if you have a good knowledge of theory which is already proved by someone or given by provided by someone, so that will help you out with your experiments, that will give you a shorter results. So let us assume one more things, like any kind of investigation. If we are doing any investigation, so we have to create one theory and follow that theory to get into the conclusion. So I would request all the students to take care of both things. Don't only go with the practical and don't only go with the theory. So both are having the similar weightage. You cannot compare these things. So in my presentation, by on every slide you will be having like verses, a theory versus practical, and in the next slide you will be having a lot of things in the verses. But I will say both are equally important. You cannot avoid anyone. Okay, so any questions regarding to this slide, you can basically chat it, put into the chat, and I will take into the Q&A session. Okay, so this is all about theory versus practical. So now let's go to the next slide. Okay, and which is marks versus skills. Again, this same confusion or contradiction. So it cannot be possible. If you are going with the marks only, uh, your future will be dark. If you are going with the skills only, that won't be possible. If you are not having the mark, how can you go with this? How can you get placed? How can you cover your BTech? So this will also impact your resume or everything. Okay, so a lot of students are asking similar kind of things, like marks versus skills. So I would request, sorry, there is some distribution. Okay, so a lot of students are looking forward the marks and not taking care about the skills. Now what are the differences, why I'm having this topic, the marks versus skills? So let's say I have a lot of friends of mine, so they are having like 80%, like 85% average in engineering. They are still struggling with the jobs or any stable future. So marks is not everything. If you are compromising your skills over the marks. Okay, similarly a different example, this is for the better results. Now one is for the bad results. I can see a lot of people in the BTech and BTech colleges, like engineering colleges, which are not having good marks, and they got depressed, they got demotivated, and say that we don't have good marks, and how will we get placed, and how will we looking after all these things. So I would like to say that you enter into engineering. I would like to take my example. In the first semester, I got only 61 percentage. In the first semester, I got 61 percentage, and in the last semester, I got 88 percentage, which is the eighth semester. So my experience was from 61 percentage to 88 percentage, which is wonderful. Now I got to realize that how to crack the RTU papers, right? And you everyone understand that how to prepare with the RTU examination, how to score well into the BTech examination. I won't say engineering examination. I will say BTech examination. So getting better marks will again a better skill. So if you are having a skills, then you can go with the marks. Okay. So I will like to say prepare all better prepare all better skills that you can have. I'm a CS branch student. I was the CS branch student. Nowadays I'm working as a software developer. So I would like to say more for the CSID peoples that your skills matter a lot. And what are your skills? Your skills are not the languages that you have learned. Like you have learned C, C++, Java, um, like someone says Python, someone says React, someone says machine, oh, sorry, any kind of thing like this. So I would like to say that that won't be your skills. These are the programming languages, whatever you are saying, right? That can never be the skills. Okay. So what can be your skills are, your skills can be the programming fundamentals. You are good with the programming fundamentals. This is your skills. You are good with the object oriented programming. That will be your skills. You are good with the data structures, uh, analysis and algorithms, in structuring the database. So you can be good on those things which are the principle or the paradigms of the software industry. Okay. So you cannot say my skill is Java, my skill is this, my skill is this. So these are the programming languages, and your skill can be like, again, the programming fundamentals, object oriented, data structures, anything which are related to that. Okay. So take care of all these things. Again, for the uh, different branches like digital electronics and sorry, the electronics branch and the electrical branch, mechanical, civil. So all the branches must have their knowledge of their stream. Okay. So you must be having a good skills which can be presentable to the interviewer or everyone whom you are looking for a job or any kind of things. Like, so be comfortable with your skills and feel the power. Whatever you have learned, if you are having the skills, you must be able to execute anything out of that. Okay. So if you have the power, you have the skills, and you can create anything out of your knowledge or your skill set, then who can stop you? I think no one can stop you, and you won't be dependent on the campus placement or offline placement or anything. You will be like you will be very confident about your skill set, and no one can stop you to getting a job, or for getting a job or anything like achieving something in your life. Okay. So first prioritize your skills, that I have to be very clear with my skill set, and then I look after all other things. Okay. So for this slide, you might be having or maybe having a lot of questions. So please ask, and we'll answer into the last. So the next slide. Next slide is again a versus. So this is experience versus knowledge. Okay. So can you guys compare these two things, experience versus knowledge? So I would like to take an example of one of my known. He was my junior, and he was looking for a job in database administration and like that. So in database, if you want to get a job, so for the bigger organization, they will always be asking for the experience. They won't allow for the they won't allow freshers, because database is a bigger responsibility, and which is really very important to work on a database which can be having the sensitive data, and which should be taking care of all these things. Okay. So experience matters. Now what about knowledge? If you have particular knowledge, uh, will you be will you not be deserving getting a job over on the knowledge basis only? So I would say no. I would really say, if you have a good knowledge, I would say you are still not the deserved one who can get the job. So what is the difference between knowledge and experience? Now, if you have knowledge of anything, like you understand anything, right? You have a good knowledge of any technology or any sort of components, any machinery or like that. So you now are eligible or okay that how can you start a project. Okay, so if you are assigned with a project, you can now start a project if you have a good knowledge of your technologies. Good, fine, very good. Okay, now come to the experience. You can start the project, but if you don't having the experience, you will not be able to complete it. I'm very sure you will not be able to complete it, because once we started working into the projects, we we find lot of obstacle or difficulties we find over there, which is a real time challenges, and for those you must be needing the experiences. And now you are looking for a job and you're coming out from a college, and how will you be having the experiences? I mean, you cannot be having the experiences. So for that, I would like to say one thing, and I used to say to every student of engineering student, so which is like do as much projects as you can in your college life, right? You all are supposed to be technical, and you all are engineer, and just think over it that you are having a lot of in numbers, and how much application mobile apps you are using developed by your students only. So do you have any single app which is developed by from your college only? Do you have any single machinery in your college which is developed by mechanical or electricals? Do you have any kind of thing that is developed by the students and that is now using into your college? So do real time things, right, and start something and get feedbacks. So a lot of student, again I'm saying one more thing into it, I'm adding one more thing, which is like a lot of students having confusion around what is a live project and what is a dead project. There is nothing a dead project, nothing what we call a dead project. So what is live and what is a normal project? So whatever you are doing, you say, if I upload it onto the website, this is a live project. So this is not the way of saying things. Okay, so live project is something in which you are having proper releases. Like in corporate we have a 3 week sprint planning. So after 3 weeks we used to release a patch, or we used to release a new version of a application or a software. So this how we release the softwares updates. So these are the live projects where you are getting the feedbacks from the users, and on the basis of the feedbacks and the requirement of those software, you provide a next release dependent on those things. So that are the live projects where your users are live, giving the proper feedbacks, and you are improving and you are presenting, serving everything. So those are the live projects. So for that you need a user base. You cannot say a project is a live project if you are having like 2 or 3 or 10 or 15 users on the website. At least you must be having more than 1,000 users on a website, and then you can say that it's a live project. You are getting real feedbacks. Okay, so this is more about the experience that you should start doing projects into your projects for every branch, like mechanical, electrical, electronics, CS, IT, civil. You should be working on a project. I would like to say that if you are an engineer, you should be good enough in making a kind of architecture of any kind of project. You should understand the problem given by the client or everyone who's looking for that problem solution. You can design anything. Remember, if you can design anything, and if you can create POC I would like to say POC is a proof of concept. If you can do POC of any kind of problem or a task given to you, then only you can work upon that project. You should understand what will be the core of that project and what kind of challenges can be come across into the project. So that's why you should uh, be into the battle first, like you should work better into your college days and then go into the corporate. Okay, so it's fairly much on this slide. I'll go to the next slide, which can be my last slide. So this one is college versus corporate. So again, it is not the one we can have both the things. So here can be the college or can be the corporate. You can uh, select one. So now what is the difference between college and corporate? So let us assume that what we do for our the projects in college. Let's say if I'm talking about CSID branch, you are given with the program. Okay, so you have 60 people in your classroom or 80 people in your classroom, and you are all are assigned with the single program. Okay, and what happened in corporate? Let's say you are 60 people in a project. Okay, and do you think that you all are assigned with the similar task in the corporate? No, it can never be. If you are all are doing the same job, nothing gonna happen in the project. Okay, so they provide different tasks to different person, and then they compile that work, and then they deploy or further things on this, right? So in college we are more into the learning, so everyone is doing the same job, and now we are into a lack of position, like we don't know that how to work in a group, how to work as a collaborator, how to work how to use the online repositories, how to use tools which says that how can work into the group. So what is Kanban, what is Zira, Rally, these kind of things, where you can divide your task, you can assign a task to a particular person or a student or your friend, and then you compile your work, right? And then you can start. So in college, if you are giving your project, you will be getting your marks, right? If project is having the maximum number can be the 100, so you will get 60%, like 60 marks, and you'll be happy. If you get 80%, you'll be very happy, and if you get 90%, you'll be like, oh, I've created something which can change the world. But in corporate you'll be finding that you have to clear the project with the 100%. Anyhow, you are paid for that, and there is no choice of leaving anything out in the project. Okay, so be clear about your projects, that when you are starting, what you need to do, and you have to finish it. And one last thing on this, I would like to say, in college time, whatever you are making, all right, whatever you are making, you have to test it. And what should be the mindset to test it? You should test this project with the mindset that you have to fail this anyhow. You have to ruin the image of the developer or the engineer who have created this. Okay, so test this, and then recompile this, and develop this, and then show to someone, and then demonstrate to someone. So this is all about my views over these things, which are technical discussion over student life. So I would like to thank you all, and that's it from my side. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot, Shubham. Very informative session. Actually, students always get confused by the different things like marks and skills, theories and practicals. Yeah, but you cleared it out. And now I think the student very much familiar with corporate work also. and they will prepare according to that. Thank you, Shubham.
Thank you so much.